Fans, welcome to Sports Chat. A lot of stuff. We just came from the big
reverse is normal.
preseason extravaganza down at Eastside Pizza. I want to thank Eastside for being gracious hosts. I want to thank David Graham, Jim Freeman, Les Martin, that guy who's on Just Sports with Les Martin, whose name escapes me at this moment, Dwayne Kitts, Adam Smith, the staff of WLEF, for inviting us down. It was a great event.
I think we should have got T-shirts.
We probably should have got a T-shirt. We'll work on that. We'll work on that. I'm serious. I would have wore a Just Sports T-shirt on the air. They're on, on WLEF. They're a sports talk show like us.
Yeah, we should have got T-shirts. That's all I'm saying.
Kind of upset we did.
Me too.
But it's football time. Pure and simple. Football season is here.
Also,
Campbell County plays O-Night Friday night in a jamboree at AC.
You got that going on. UT practice well underway.
The UT recruiting still well underway.
UT recruiting is going well. NFL just boiling over with news where they're making up for lost time. We're in it. It's football time.
It is. I mean, it's time to break out your tailgating party equipment, your favorite team uniform, T-shirts, all that jazz. Shave your head, paint it blue and orange, at least for Friday nights.
Went to the Jacksboro scrimmages this week.
Jellico,
Jellico,
and North Middle School out of Loudoun County.
I'll be honest, it was kind of hard to keep track of what exactly was happening. They had things going on both sides of the field.
I'll say this. Jacksboro impressed me running the ball. And Tyler Loveday, the quarterback, looked really good throwing the ball on the passes he threw.
Jellico, they looked like they did okay too.
Yeah, what we saw.
They were going against North. North really a really loaded and good team every year.
Right.
Well, they seemed to get the low end of the stick. They had to play. They were playing both Jacksboro and Jellico. When it seemed like Jacksboro were getting breaks, they weren't.
It was.
Yeah.
It turned out it was North. Their JV played Jellico.
And Jacksboro's JV.
And Jacksboro, yeah. So,
And a lot of.
Oh, okay.
And
varsity just played Jacksboro.
And
okay.
before anybody says, well, isn't that kind of an insult to Jellico? No, it's really not. They have, just by population of the school, it's so hard for them to field, a huge team.
Well, think about you. If you know anything about football around here, middle school level, North Middle. That's two different middle schools in Loudoun County. It's Loudoun County, I think, Lower City and Loudoun Middle School combined to make one middle school.
And they are a powerhouse.
Their team is huge. They have literally 100 kids on their team.
They had a pretty good crowd there.
Jellico was running the ball well too. Jellico Elementary impressed me.
What I was
Their middle school.
Actually, it's Jellico Elementary. It's K through 8.
Oh, that's I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Learn something new every day.
I'm smart that way. Continue.
Anyway, what I was seeing from the JV down there, they were doing well. They were doing.
That's good. It may be.
Yeah.
3.
What?
Continue.
I think I finished my thought.
Oh, well then I'll continue. Campbell County went up to Scott County. A little bit I gathered about the scrimmage. Campbell County did pretty well. Scott County actually did not run a passing play against them. So
some teams are like that. Maybe Scott County runs an option. I don't know.
But I talked to several coaches, several players. They tackled well. They got to the ball well. And it's odd because Campbell County's been practicing to go against passing teams.
Mm-hmm. From what I understand, Tuffy Shoops threw a touchdown and ran for a touchdown during the scrimmage.
Tuffy, he's in a good position this year because he's run that flex bone option. So, if he gets in a pressure situation, we know he can run.
Right.
Yeah, the downside of that is that he's new to this offense and it requires really precise timing. And him and the receivers are really going to have to be on the same page. You think, well, they've been practicing every day. That's not enough time, really. You know, they really
It's
needed
really
spring
not.
practice, you know, to
Yeah.
get this down.
I mean, pure and simple, they were hamstrung this year. Politics as usual kind of got the Cougars this year. I mean, they suffered through a 3-coach in a very short amount of time span.
Not to
4
mention-
if you count the interim
I
coach.
said not to mention your interim coaches that were there. That basically, you know, you had Coach Bruce and
The
basically
school
the middle school staff was coming up and was helping them to get through spring practice, and they were going over the basics.
You know, fundamentals are important, but
It really is important to get that spring practice to start working on the system that the coach is going to run, because I mean that's what counts.
well, I'll give you an example of how it needs to be done. While we were setting up for the show, I talked to Rodney Ellison from Wartburg. He and Sean Jesse are going to be our guests next week because Wartburg and Cumberland Gap play. It's a battle of 2 former Jacksboro Middle School head coaches. You know, Rodney was telling me, I was like, what would be a good day to come up here? He's like, can we shoot Sunday? I can't do Saturday. We're putting on a clinic for the Little League coaches and middle school coaches to get our system in place. You know, that's how you do it.
This particular offense, though, it's predicated on timing, and it's, you know, the quarterback and the wide receivers have to be precise with it, and that's just hard to learn so quickly.
right.
Now, I'll say that Campbell County's line looks impressive from what I've seen. Got some big old boys. You know, in the 7-on-7s, the receivers have looked pretty darn good. Brandon Long stands out in my mind. You know, in Campbell County, you know, they've got Tuffy. They've got Ethan Miller backing him up, and of course Ethan Jeffers and Kane Pill are both freshman core. I hope Ethan and Kane do not have to see any action on varsity.
Yeah, unless there's some miracle and we're ahead 40-0, they want to play.
Right.
But, you know, you don't want to force them into action.
It would be great for them to go through JV and learn the system. Now, Ethan Miller, seasoned ball player. You know, good arm, good athlete. You know, he can be a receiver for Tuffy. You know, honestly, they could line them both up back there and have a really different dimension.
We'll see how it works out. You know, I think it's going to be okay. Not sure how we're going to say. We'll get a good idea, of course, when they take the field against Seymour. Seymour was 3-7 last year. Had trouble scoring the ball, averaged 13 points a game.
I'll tell you another thing. It'll be interesting to see them go against Oneida Friday.
Yeah.
Oneida's a traditionally strong football program.
This will be more than you saw at the 7-on-7s and scrimmages because, you know, they're only going to play a quarter.
But it's going to be a complete game situation.
It'll be in pads and it'll be in a game type situation.
That's what's exciting to me about it. I've said it. The reason you don't look at scrimmages and 7-on-7s is it's not a game situation.
Right.
Most scrimmages are 10-play scrimmages.
Well, they're just tools to let a coach see what his team needs to do to improve.
Right. I mean, it's a different ballgame. Think of Friday night as a dress rehearsal. You know, you get to go down, you get to see a quarter of action. You get to see Anderson County, who we play in action. You get to see Clinton, who we play in action.
Right.
You get to see Wartburg, that has 2 locals on a coaching staff in action. And you get to see Oneida, which is a traditionally great football program in action. How can you go wrong, fans? How can you not go down there and think, man, this is a good way to spend Friday night?
Especially around this town with your limited options around here.
Right.
You know, this is the time. I would love to see a sea of orange and blue in that stadium. There's also a skills competition at some point during the Jamboree that our players will be competing against skilled players from all the teams in attendance.
And normally, for those that haven't came out for a Jamboree, I mean, watching the skills competition is pretty neat. It's
is.
it's really a good time. You guys see them. You know, normally they do. You know, who can, like with the quarterbacks, they do who can throw the farthest, fastest lineman, which is an interesting concept.
Fastest skill player.
Right. I mean,
punting.
So it's really fun. It's a good time. As we said, we like to see a lot of people supporting your blue and orange.
Also, Campbell County's got some new coaches on the staff.
Yeah, I think they've added 2.
They've added 2. I talked to Daniel Berry at down at East Side.
Didn't one start? A new one started today, right?
New linebackers coach. He's the son-in-law of Maryville College.
Right.
As head coach. So let's be honest. He's probably been around football for a while.
Yeah,
He probably played there. Probably played with the president. I didn't get to talk to him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Justin probably wouldn't have hired him if he hadn't. You know,
Right.
He's got a solid staff in place.
And I'll say that Daniel Berry, I coached a team at Jacksboro that he played on. I coached a team at Campbell County High School that he played on. You know, he is a great running back, and you know he has been coaching in the Lake City Little League. He lives down in the lower end of the county. He's been a coach in the Lake City Little League program. He's been very successful. He works with kids well, and I think Daniel's going to do a great job with these guys.
Yeah, you get people who build good relationships with them when they're young, and you know, hopefully that pays off down the road.
Daniel was an all-state running back in high school. So, you know, he's solid. He's a great addition to the team. I have no doubt this new linebackers coach is a great, solid addition to the team.
Now they're all young too. I'm not sure that there's a coach on the staff over 40.
I don't know there's a coach on the staff over 35.
You know, I'm not sure about the guy who coached at Norris. Can't remember his name.
Cersei?
Maybe I'm not sorry.
I'm not either. I'm drawing a blank. But he told me I'm the old man of the staff. And I'm pretty sure he's younger than me. So at least probably no more older than 23. What?
22, 23.
No good?
He's 24.
It's fine. It's fine.
But, you know, that Jellico was down there. They had some representatives. They've got a young coaching staff, fresh out of Cumberland College, basically. You know, I'm hoping for a good season for the Blue Devils this year.
You know, I'm not sure that anybody is ever going to be what Maryville and Alabama are in their county.
No.
But that shows you that you can have 2 really good teams from the same county.
It absolutely does.
Blount County's a bigger county than Campbell County, but I think there's 75,000 versus
What
40.
you got to understand, Blount County has 2 other large high schools in the county, and William Blount and Heritage.
Well, William Blount is usually pretty good too.
Heritage is the poor stepchild of that county.
But even smaller counties can have, Wartburg and
Coalfield,
and Coalfield, Sunbright. They're all pretty good teams in a very small area.
Yeah, well, I mean, you look at Coalfield and Sunbright are 9 and 10 in the state in that division preseason. Yeah. They're from Morgan County, you know, not a big county population-wise.
About half of Campbell County size.
Well, let's look at Scott County. Let's look at how good Oneida's been in the past.
But, you know, you can field multiple successful teams out of the same county. And hopefully we're taking the first step this year to getting there. This new staff at Jellico and the new staff at Campbell County High School.
Right, and you know you've got a good staff in place at Jacksboro, and you've got a new staff in place at LaFollette. And I talked to Brent Lester of the Little League. He told me some of the people that were coaching down there, and some of the team, some of the kids that are playing. I mean, it's like a list of the kids of people I played football with. Quality football players. Scott Webb's little red-headed terror is playing for them. I have no doubt that kid's just going to be a tough D lineman.
You start them out young, you get them and keep them in the county, and that's what it looks like we're going to be able to do now with the middle school staffs that we have in place and the high school staff. And that's just the key to success. Keeping them in your county, in your program. So
I mean, it's looking good, and fans really support these kids. You know, I would love to, Thursday nights, I'm a little spoiled. You know, Jacksboro's usually got a packed house. You know, you've both been there with it. You know, it's big. LaFollette is getting there. The last few years, from the time Steve Rutherford took over the program to Cody Parker and now to Chris Honeycutt, I've seen support for that school build.
Even Campbell County itself has good support.
Right.
In Jellico, you don't have the good support. Hopefully that changes, turns around. But, you know, for what Campbell County's record's been over the years, that's pretty good support that they get.
It is.
And, you know, this year, you know, don't get down if they're not just winning every game or anything like that. Because this is a transition year, and you know, they've won what, 2 games in the last 2 years, something along those lines.
A conversation we were having with Dwayne Wilder about Carnes. You know, Carnes scored 98 points all season. Campbell County lost to him last year.
And just, you think about it, if the things go bad, you know, don't just say, oh God, it's another year, the same kind of Campbell County football we've always been accustomed to. Because things are changing up there, you know. And we also pointed out that same conversation we were talking about the playoff year. Dwayne brought up that Campbell County lost 35-0 in their opening game that year against Jefferson County.
Yeah.
And then they also lost to Clinton within the first 3 weeks of the season. Started at 1-2 with a couple of bad losses.
Right. I mean, that was a tough start. Yeah. I particularly remember that season well because it was my first season as sports editor of the Times. Jason had left to go work for Coke, and you know, I was like, oh, this could be. I had high hopes it was going to be a good season, but after the first 3 games, I was like, this is going to be bad.
You know, looking at this team right now, you're going to get a lot of effort. Everybody is fired up for this.
Numbers
Players
wise,
are fired up. You're going to have a nice team. They're going to be doing their best.
I'll talk about one that I've heard some of the coaches brag about. Is Phoenix Asher. Phoenix ain't the biggest kid in the world. He's a linebacker, not very big, but he comes at you full speed, ready to make the play every play.
He gives it his all. I mean, you know, all the kids out there are going to be giving it their all.
And there's some kids out there that's not played football in a while that I'm happy to see back on the field.
You know, I look at the schedule. You look at who you know, how the teams did last year. Basically, Campbell County's got a shot. And I'm not saying that they will. They have a shot at starting out 3-1, 4-0, or something like that. Now it could be the exact opposite of that. But you know,
I like to be an optimist. You know, I would love to see.
Seymour won 3 games last year and only averaged 13 points a game.
Cumberland County
was 4-6 last year, and I think they lost a couple of their key players. They could score, but they didn't play very good defense. They gave up 40 or 50 points a game.
Now Anderson County had a good year last year.
Anderson County's a powerhouse team, but you've got to look at it this way. Who knows that system better than our coaches?
Exactly.
Right. So, you know, and plus it's a rival game. You got to
and they lost Tanner Williams, their incredible quarterback that they had. You know, they lost that.
4th game, you have Carnes. Carnes is usually the worst team in the district.
Right. They are you know, there was many years that them and Campbell County battled it out to see who got to finish last.
I mean, Carnes, as he pointed out, scored 98 points all of last season. So, you know, Campbell County's got a shot there of having a really good start. It may not happen, but, you know, you're looking at the positive side, it could happen.
And like I said, I like to be positive. And I tell people all the time, I'm a little bit biased towards the Prices. You know, they played on a team I coached. It's hard not to be.
Well, they're starting already. Events like tonight. Glad to see a lot of people out tonight. Friday night, Anderson County's a short drive. It's 15 minutes from the Campbell exit.
You know, I mean, go down there, support the Cougars. You know, you take the family out to eat. There's plenty of nice eateries around there. Go to the Gondolier. You know, go to that nice Mexican place. There's Long John Silver's.
I think Long John Silver's.
It's still on the exit.
Used to be Starbucks.
But they turned Starbucks into Long John Silver. Or Long John Silver's into a Starbucks.
No, it was actually a Starbucks that turned into a Long John.
I would eat Gondolier if I was there.
Oh yeah, I would too.
Yeah.
fans, we're going to go ahead and wrap this segment up. We're going to come back and talk about UT football, more Campbell County sports, and we'll be right back.